Good morning, Bernie. This is Jeff Flinn. I'm the managing editor at the Boerne Star, and we're bringing you the Boerne Brew. It's every Saturday morning here, 8 a.m. on 103.9 FM, Boerne Radio. You know where you are. You're already listening. So thank you for tuning in, as you always do. Get a piece of paper and a pen handy, as we always ask you to do, so you can write down what we're talking about and make a weekend out of it. This is going to be a great weekend. Hopefully the rain stays away. This weekend, we had enough rain for a while. I know everybody wants their yards and their wells filled up. Let's give it a weekend break. You get a weekend of nice, warm, relaxing Boerne summer. We've got a couple guests here today, and we're going to talk about what has and what will be. We're talking to people from Comfort. We got a couple of Comfort folks in here. We got April McDonald. She's the co-chair of the Comfort Chamber of Commerce. And I've got Lisa Jenkins. She's also on the Comfort Chamber board as well. She's with Free Thinkers General Store out there. And if you know Free Thinkers, you know that's got a Boerne historical aspect tied all the way through it. Ladies, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. April, tell us a little bit about what your last 3 weeks has been like.
My last 3 weeks have been turned upside down. I was able to take part of my former life, my former career as a logistician support type officer for the federal government, and apply it in a much needed circumstances that happened. We were all set for our 4th of July celebration. We got the word that we're going to have to cancel that, obviously, for the flood. My husband and I, we were evacuated. We live close to Water Street, which has the Cypress Creek that would flow over and cause flooding. We were evacuated about 4 hours. Thank you very much. Shout out to the Comfort Volunteer Fire Department. They came up and down our streets and told us to leave. And then we just went to the Lutheran Church. The high school was open and some other locations as an evacuation point. We knew since the 4th of July, the Chamber sponsors every year a huge 4th of July event. We thought about what can we do and get, because we couldn't have the 4th of July. So what we did is on the 5th, we stood up all of our food, all our drinks, and we invited anybody that needed a place just to come and relax and have a free meal and just gather as a community. And it was pretty much a very big hit. No funds. We've paid for everything. And then on the 5th, in the early morning of the day, our chamber received a message from the Salvation Army saying, we have supplies. Where in Comfort can we deliver them? So our executive director, Charlie Hubner, said, he sent out a note to our board, and the volunteers that usually volunteer, myself and Margaret Stone and my husband, Craig McDonald, and several others in our community, we went to the park, which is run by the county, and the county said, yes, you can use the park for this. So we got 3 box trucks and 2 pickup trucks pulling trailers full of supplies.
That day
On the 6th, and we went into business. So,
I was there on the 4th. I was standing right down by Water and 7th, and hey, here's the flood water coming up. And where the road turns around towards the thing, here came the volunteer fire department. Evacuate now, get out of the area. It's your last chance, the last call. And then I stood back under the tinsmith wife shop roof as it poured rain and recorded the siren sounding. And there was a Kendall County deputy there. He said, yeah, we saw you down there taping the water come up. I said, yeah, I had the video. He said, you're the one we were telling to get out.
Okay.
I thought I was good. They're like, get out now. But, they're going around for the Water Street and Broadway and all that area. And it was just really stark. I thought when I was under the roof watching the rain, my first thought was, all those people that had all that food prepared for hundreds and hundreds of people on July 4th.
Yes.
What are they going to do with it? And as I drove back to work, I thought, I'm going to put something online. But then you get back to work and the whole focus of the whole weekend changed. As soon as the report started rolling and you understood what happened upstream, it was like, wow.
Yes. We had a vendor that was supposed to set up, she and her husband, a bread business and cookies and cakes, and they were supposed to set up for the 4th of July there in Comfort, and they were in Hunt. And when we were texting back and forth, I was letting them know, we have canceled, but hopefully if we have to reorganize, you'll still join us. And the next day she sent me a text and she said, we had no idea what we were in for as far as the devastation. They didn't live in an area of Hunt that, we've been seeing and hearing about on TV. She said, but she had so much left over and she just went out and gave it away.
Volunteer after volunteer after search and rescue. A lot of people were there saying, hey, have this, take this, that kind of thing. Lisa, tell us about your 4th. What's life been like since the flood came in and changed the mind of our area?
Well, running a business, we were primed for the 4th of July. We had extra staff. We had everything planned. We knew it was going to be a really great big day for our store. And my husband, I think, woke me up about 6 a.m. and said, honey, you got to get up. We have some decisions to make. And so, I get a little choked up just thinking about it because I had no idea at that time what he meant by that. Nobody did at 6 a.m. But I quickly texted all of the girls and told them not to come in. So they got to stay home and safe. And then, like April said, starting right on the 5th, we jumped in with the meals at the park, and then we went to the distribution center. We basically had a huge distribution center at the park.
The weekend of July 11th, I was with my wife, and we were somewhere. I live in Converse, so we were somewhere. I thought, this isn't 4th of July weekend, is it? She said, that was last weekend. It just didn't seem like the 4th of July.
Right.
It just, 4th went right out the window. Never even happened. Didn't even feel like it happened.
Yeah, and it did not feel like it happened at all. Totally understand that feeling and agree with it. I will say, because it is such a patriotic holiday, that in normal Texas fashion, hill country fashion, comfort fashion, is it pulled people together.
Right.
I mean, our strength is in our communities. We had businesses that jumped in and churches that jumped in and other nonprofits. At some point, a couple days, 2 days into the distribution center, we collaborated with a bunch of nonprofits and churches and business personnel to help sponsor anything that we needed. They would say, do you need food? Do you need supplies? We would meet, and I called them the round table, and we would say, okay, can you do this? Can you do that? We had Hill Country Family Services, which is just an outstanding organization that just said, anything you need, we're going to make it happen. They got fans for our Comfort Park distribution site because it's not air conditioned. Also, I made contact with Pepsi and Target, so we had a great supply of Gatorade coming in. Also built relationships with all the other distribution centers up and down the river, and we just continued meeting and saying what we need and working with the search and rescue, and then obviously it later becomes the search and recovery, and keeping a really good supply of material that they needed.
Right.
Social media was our best friend for the most part. There are certain aspects you want to say, okay, we needed bug spray, and we would get 500 bottles of bug spray, but it kept coming. And, so we would just get the word out to the other distribution centers from Hunt, Ingram, Kerrville, Centerpoint, down, and to say we have it. And we had runners and people that volunteered to run all over, Boerne, back up to Kerrville, just everywhere into San Antonio, get supplies and stuff were just phenomenal. The volunteer pride and spirit and comfort during a time of need is just outstanding. I choke up thinking about everybody that just put their lives on hold just to support.
We had nothing to do that weekend because we all cleared our schedules. So we were all available.
Right.
I'd called the Hunt Volunteer Fire Department there, and I said, I saw on your Facebook that you need help. What do you need? And I put on Boerne Star Facebook page, and then it was copied and copied. It had like 600,000 hits. And I called her the next morning and said, hey, I don't mean to panic you, but if all these people that are seeing this turn out like you asked, she said, yeah, take it down. Take it down for now. Well, I'll call you Friday, and we can do something Friday. But we have a line of 2 miles of cars trying to get into volunteer.
Right, and I think anytime we put something on one social media Facebook site, then somebody would put it on another one, and somebody would put on another one. So in a way, that was fantastic because people out there wanted to give.
Right.
We had support from California, Oklahoma. There's a D&D trucking out of Oklahoma, dropped off a tractor trailer full of ice at Sacred Heart Church in their parking lot. So anybody that needed ice, just go there, open up the door, and get it. And we had so many, obviously, water was a big thing that people wanted to donate. And at some point, you just have to say, we have water, thank you. But everybody who left, when we would say, thank you for the water, but you could probably try this location, they said, not a problem, we understand, but what else do you need? And so if you said, I need sunscreen, they ran and got it.
Yeah.
We received medical supplies out of Ohio, some church donations out of Houston. There was one particular church that came into Comfort and gave me $10,000 worth of HEB cards.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes,
That's awesome.
It was just the gift cards. I would say anything in the future, the first thing is just donation of money and gift cards goes a long way.
Right. Voice you're hearing, folks, is April McDonald. She's the co-chair of the Comfort Chamber of Commerce. We're talking all things comfort today. Also have Lisa Jenkins in. She's the manager, Grand Poobah of Freethinkers General Store there on High Street. We've been talking about the comfort reaction to what happened July 4th and what's happened since then. One thing we want to talk about is comfort needs us. Just because there was a flood, just because there was an evacuation, doesn't mean they're all evacuated. They didn't shut down the city. I drove in and out that afternoon. Yeah, I drove back to the office. I had to charge up all my equipment. When I went back at 2 o'clock, the water was down, the people were gone. It was like, but the people stayed away. So what we need, folks, are listening here. Hey, you're going to eat lunch, you're going to eat supper, you're going to have a weekend. Go spend it in comfort. Help our folks down the road. We have an intern at the Boerne Star. His name's Joel Morris. He was here with me a couple weeks ago. Joel's not here right now. He's doing something else for us here in Boerne today, but we're going to pick on Joel, kinda. So let's say Joel's never been to Comfort. I asked him about that. So I'm thinking Joel's going to be planning to go into Comfort this weekend, okay? Let's walk Joel through his weekend in Comfort, okay? He's going to arrive Friday, 5:30. He gets off 5 o'clock. He gets there 5:30, 6 o'clock. What's he going to do? Where's he going to go? Where's he going to stay? What's he going to eat? What's he going to enjoy for a Friday night in Comfort?
Well, we have a lot of places to stay in Comfort. A lot of people are surprised. We have over 100 Airbnbs.
Really?
We have historic Hotel Giles. We have Camp Comfort that's on the Cypress Creek and did not flood. So they're open for business. So there's plenty of places to stay in Comfort.
Those 100 B&Bs, is there a list somewhere? Or is there a place somebody can click on or go to a Facebook site where all those are listed?
Some of them would be on the Comfort Chamber of Commerce website,
Okay.
But a lot also will be on Airbnb or VRBO.
Okay, he selects his place. There's a place down there to stay that's got like several cabins. Is
Camp
that one?
Comfort.
Yeah, Camp Comfort.
Yes.
Okay, he's got his place he's going to stay, bedded down, laid down, kind of relaxed because it's Friday. And all of a sudden it's 7 o'clock. He's hungry. Where's Joel going to go?
We have several great places for him to go in the evening. He can get a great pizza from Comfort Pizza. He can go to Fajita Street and get some really good Tex-Mex food. He can go to Boerne's and get just about a lot of different things. He can also go to Cypress Creek Inn, who I will say has the best fried chicken, country fried steak there. And I go there every Wednesday night for dinner. I'm a faithful customer. Big shout out to them. Again, Boerne's is another place that is a rather new restaurant in our area. And I will say Boerne's, they really supported a lot of volunteers and they supported search and recovery and by giving a lot of free meals out.
Right,
And that's just beautiful.
Those folks turn around like that. And for me, I'd see dollar signs go out the door, but they see relief going out the door.
Right.
Yes, they did. And I would say that after he eats dinner, he can go to Remedy Hall for some entertainment. And
there's also the Cocky Rooster, which has live music.
Okay, cool. So he can hang out. Are all these things within walking distance? I mean, he's a young guy. He can jog if he wants.
I would say yes.
I'd have to get myself one of those scooters or something.
Well, Joel, if he can do it, he can walk. I mean, everything's less than a mile from each other. Yeah. And if he stayed centrally within downtown Comfort off a high street or elsewhere, he would be able to walk. And I know Lisa also has a B&B.
I do. Bunkhouse on High, right behind my store.
What's it called?
Bunkhouse on High.
Okay, Bunkhouse on High.
And that is a great, and Shopping with Siobhan also has some casitas. Yes. The Bunkhouse on High is a great weekend getaway for if you have 6 friends from college or whatever, and you're looking for a place for you guys to, go. Reunion, I would recommend Bunkhouse on High or Shopping with Saban. Saban has a B&B sort of similar to that to meet those for reunions.
She had a wine tasting just this week, correct?
Saban, yes. Yes, she did.
That's another thing is wine tasting. There's wineries everywhere out in that area.
Yes.
There is.
Yeah, we have Singing Waters.
Bending Branch.
Bending Branch, I'm sorry. I was just like, because we've been seeing Andy, who owns Singing Waters, out forerunner of a lot of supporting our businesses and getting help to search and recovery teams. And just his connection donating, and his children, learning about donations and giving back, went around a couple days ago and donated a bunch of power supplies, and that was just so well received. And we have community leaders such as Andy. I'm going to plug in for my husband, Craig McDonald, as well. And they're just wonderful to see all these people give to this effort.
Right.
But Joel, he will go home well fed and happy, go back to his B&B.
Yep, there you go. Well, we're waking him up Saturday morning. I'll set the alarm for 7. I'm going to get him up. He looks like a sleeper. You might want to sleep a lot, but we're going to get him up. 7 o'clock, the roosters are crowing out back, and sun is coming up. It's a beautiful Saturday morning in Comfort. Where's Joel going to go for his caffeine? Where's Joel going to go for his steak and eggs or ham and eggs or his bean and cheese? And mine, 1 bean and cheese and 1 potato egg. That's my breakfast. Where's he going?
Well, I'm not up at 7 a.m., but I do know that we have the Lobby Coffee Shop. We have Comfort Coffee inside 8th Street Market.
We also have Bernays is open
for breakfast.
As well.
Okay,
and
great.
There is a diner.
Comfort Diner.
Comfort Diner. And those ladies are hardworking ladies, and they get it right when you want. I'm particular about my eggs, so I say over medium, and they're like, over medium, they're the best. So I love going there Sunday mornings for my Sunday morning breakfast.
Right.
And I tell you what, the best kept secret in Comfort is the breakfast tacos at the Valero.
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. It's a Valero, but they're the best breakfast tacos. Those ladies in there work so hard. And we have a donut shop, too, now. We have a Snowflake Donut.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
They do.
Great.
And they have the great sausage kolaches.
Yes.
Any variety you want, with cheese, without cheese.
Yep.
So.
He's fed, going back to his cabin at
Camp Comfort.
Camp Comfort. I can't
Yes.
remember that. Let me write down Camp Comfort.
Or his beautiful room at Hotel Giles.
Right. Hotel Giles, you walk out and you're right there.
You're right there.
Right
Right
there.
there. So
Right.
he's staying where he's staying. We'll let you pick where you want him to be, where Joel's going to be in your mind and Comfort. It's a Saturday afternoon. What's he going to find? If it was me and my wife, she'd want to do art, and I'd kind of stay at the door, hoping that what she brought out didn't cost me a mortgage.
Oh. Well, lucky for her, if you're in Hotel Giles, you're going to walk across the street and go to the Mixed House Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
That is owned and operated by Kara Hines, and it is beautiful. And she has done a lot of great work in there. I will also say that Kara was very instrumental in maintaining a list of B&Bs, hotels, people's houses that had a room for volunteers during all of this.
That's awesome.
That was Kara's effort.
Kara's done a lot of work in the community.
Yes.
Well, she's the first person from Comfort I was in contact with.
Okay.
Because she called me like the 3rd or 4th day and asked for my predecessor, who's no longer there. She said, well, I've got a press release about, whatever. I'm Mixed House Gallery. I said, where's that at? She said, Comfort. I kind of said, where's that at? But I found my way out there. I went out for the Comfort Art Fest when it was out there and, made sure I got to the Mixed House and walked around all the different artists. And it's just a little busy place. I like it.
Yes, and I'm going to give a shout out to Kara. She was very instrumental in the Chamber's new logo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did all the work on that. She started Visit Comfort TX, which is now has its own roots and it's growing to promote our little town. So, and then Joel's going to go shopping.
Tell me where he's going to hit. If he needs a new pair of tennis shoes, he wants a great polo shirt. Tell me what he's going to find, where he's going to find it in Comfort.
Well, he would turn left and just go up the street. There's some doggy stores he could shop at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Poochie Barkus is a new store in Comfort. Poochie Barkus.
Okay.
And it's all about the puppies. So that you have to visit Poochie Barkus. Obviously, Free Thinkers General Store, you have to go there.
Right, you have
So
to go
then
there.
he is across the street now, and then he's coming back, and he can go to Redefine, and then go down further, and he would hit.
Well, Hart Cottage is right across the street
that's
from
right.
Redefined. And
That's right.
then you turn and you go down the street to Monogram 29.
Are you getting this, folks? Is everybody writing this down?
Write it down.
That's why I told you, get that pen and piece of paper, or if you're fast on your key or on your phone, write this stuff down. So when you go to Comfort, you just don't go to one place all the time. There's so much out there. What is going to be happening when Joel goes shopping and when Joel goes to clothing and he's going to go back and relax because it's hot. It's July.
Yes.
It's going to be 98 degrees. So he's going to go back, cool off a little bit, watch a little sports. He's a very sports-oriented guy, so he's going to watch some sports on TV.
Or if you're staying at Meyer, B&B, you've got a swimming pool.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Is that Meyer or
Yes,
is
it is.
Meijer?
Meyer.
Okay.
So, and he's also going to have to go out shopping and get, again, one more time and hit Simply Comfort, which is one of my favorite places to
Mine
shop
too.
at.
And Tim
besides
Smith's
Lisa's.
wife. Tim Smith's wife
Oh,
as
the Tim
well.
Smith
Don't
wife.
forget.
Yes, exactly.
People come from all over the country to go to Tim Smith's wife.
Really?
Yes.
They do. It's obviously
It's a knitting
sewing
store.
and knitting,
Yes.
and they give classes, and they are very well known. I've had people come out that I know from San Antonio, and I ran into them in the street, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And they're like, "Well, Tin Smith, we've been coming here for years." And I'm like,
Really?
"Oh, okay."
Well, we're going to sign Joel up for a knitting class.
Yes.
That'll come in handy for when he goes back to college.
It's a skill he can have
do
forever.
And we have Comfort Apothecary right there by Tim Smith's wife.
Yes, and that is ran by Abigail, who was also a key volunteer during the relief
this.
situation, as well as Lisa sitting here next to me, gave a lot of dedicated business hours to support everything.
Folks, people I'm talking with here from Comfort are April McDonald. She's the co-chair of the Comfort Chamber of Commerce. I've got Lisa Jenkins, who is the owner of the Free Thinkers General Store. We're talking Comfort. We talked about the flood relief and how all outpouring of sentiment, help, volunteers, food, heartstrings, that was Comfort. You know, we didn't experience in Kendall County what they experienced in Kerr County.
Right.
Not making a point of that, but I'm thankful. You know, we're
Yes.
thankful that ours was limited. When NBC called me about my siren, he said, "Did the siren save people's lives?" I said, "Possibly." I said, "It was 9:30 in the morning when water came up in Comfort." And I said, "If you know people live in Comfort area, they're probably up at 6 or 7 in the morning anyway." So they were able to get out, back the vehicle out, and get the dogs in. We had time.
Yes. And I have a siren right outside my house on Broadway and 27. But again, we had the luxury of daylight and 8 hours notice to
Right.
get ready and understand what was going on, plus our volunteer fire department getting the word up and down the streets of what was going on and keeping us well informed.
Well, Joel's going to party. He's going to be out Saturday night, so we'll hit places Saturday. He couldn't hit Friday, correct?
Right. I would also recommend that he go to Singing Waters, and that's a great atmosphere.
They always have something going
Yeah.
on
Okay.
at Singing
Entertainment,
Water. There's
yeah.
entertainment.
Right.
There's something always going on. But we forgot lunch, I think, at High's Cafe.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
because you
Heights,
have to
yeah.
have lunch at High's Cafe.
That is so well known, and I mean, when I've had people visit, and I was like, "We're going to High's Cafe," and they all walk out with a cookbook because they love the menu, and you can't order everything on that menu. But I mean, I probably eat there more than I should, but they're right there, and they're great.
Well,
and
well, the people at High don't think so. They think you're not there enough.
And they're fixing
Probably
to
not.
celebrate their 20th anniversary.
yes,
Really?
Darren
Yes.
is the
Yes.
the owner and proprietor of that. Darren mentioned that the other day, and I'm looking forward
20
to
years.
Yeah.
20
Wow.
years in downtown Comfort.
Yes.
Right. Things happen.
Right.
Well, suppose Joel couldn't go this weekend. Okay, he's got too much going on back. He's from San Marcos, so
Right.
he and I drive our tails off to get here. But so he's going to make plans. He's going, I'm going to plan to come to Comfort later on in the year. Give me a couple Chamber of Commerce moments. What are some weekends that he needs, and the people listening to this who have paper and pen need to write down the dates? Tell us some things in Comfort that people are got to put on their social calendars.
On their social calendars, do not miss Christmas in Comfort, which is held the Saturday after Thanksgiving of every year.
Okay.
We close down High Street and some other side streets. We have vendors of all types of handicrafts, clothing, everything. Plus, our downtown merchants are open, or all our merchants are open. And there's one street dedicated to a food court. And in the evening, we have a night parade. But it goes on, rain or shine. And every year, we have, again, a great group of volunteers. And Margaret Stone from the Chamber and her company, Hill Country Ears, is very instrumental in putting that on for us. And it is so much fun. You just stand all day running around volunteering and stuff, but at the end of the day, you're just like, wow, that went too fast. I mean, personally, I'd love to see that like a 3-day celebration, because we get over 20,000 visitors to Comfort
Really?
that day. But it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like it's that. We have Santa Claus, and that has been well done by some other volunteers, Katie Lammers, who sets up reindeers and Santa Claus, and chance to visit Santa and write down what you want, and that's just perfect.
Well, it's neat talking Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Maybe next year we need to have Comfort Christmas in July.
Maybe.
Actually,
would
someone
be
mentioned
great.
that the
Yeah.
other day, that Christmas in July would be great.
Hand out those tacky Christmas shirts,
Right.
and sell them for bonus, and we couldn't have a snow machine because it would all be melting before it hit the ground.
That's right. That's right. But we also have a sidewalk sale coming up on September 13th.
Okay.
We have the art festival
That
coming
was my
up.
first excursion. into
September, I don't remember the date, but
Okay.
look for the art festival in Comfort.
Comfort. Okay.
We have Diva Day and Girls Night Out in November.
Okay.
So there's always something going on in Comfort.
Where can people go to get the date for the Comfort Art Fest? Where can they go to get the date for the Divas Nights? What website can they hit?
Comfort Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, just
the
type
Comfort
that in.
Area Chamber of Commerce has all of the dates listed.
So you art fans like my wife, like I said, when she gets in that art mood, I just kind of, okay, go look. Just, I just hope it can fit in the car, and hope it doesn't cost me a car. Because, you walked in the Mick House and there's some great art on the walls, great art available, great art she had on display. I love it. A lot of it I love, and a lot of it is people that have money can enjoy themselves at art festivals. That's a great thing. You see somebody walking around with 2 or 3 bags, you're thinking, wow.
But there's also some starving artists there, so you can find some relatively good buys at the art festival. Some beautiful works from up and coming. So,
and then it includes some really beautiful jewelry art.
Yes,
that is just phenomenal, just outstanding. That
other art complexes or art co-ops out there?
Well, not a gallery, but Fiddlin' Frogs we forgot to mention on 27.
Right.
Okay. They have a lot of beautiful 87. They have a lot of beautiful art as well.
Yes.
Well, folks, I hope you wrote some of this stuff down. Okay, if you haven't been out to Comfort for a while, do it. Go out this weekend. It's Saturday morning, 8:30. By the time this is done, I enjoyed just driving across the bridge. I like driving across that bridge. It reminds me of big bridges down in Florida we used to go to when I was a kid, and you drove forever.
Yes.
It feels like you're driving forever, but you get into Comfort and you just turn left there on 7th, go down to High, go down to Main, find your way around, and get online before you go so you know where you're going. So, ladies, thank you for coming in. Thank you for pumping Comfort. That's what we wanted to do. We want to get people knowing that water came up. One of the guys I talked to, the water comes in and the water goes away.
That's right.
Come to
that's
Comfort.
What happened. Come to Comfort.
We
the
need
doors
you.
are open.
We've been closed for a few weeks, and we need you to come to Comfort.
Yep. Folks, you heard the call from Lisa Jenkins at Freethinkers General Store. We need you out there. And let's work on Christmas in July for next year.
I love that idea. I'm going to hit up Margaret, Maggie. We have like all these names for her. I believe you probably already know her well.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to hit her up and say, we need to do this.
Yep. Okay, folks, thank you for tuning in. God bless. Have a great weekend, and go Bernie and go Comfort. Thank you, folks.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.